Who did you know at ALS?
My mother.
Why did you decide to be the caretaker?
Well, I was the logical one. My two sisters had to work, and I was lucky enough to have a job that I could be home when I needed to.
Alright, did you have to do a lot of thinking to decide that you wanted to take on the responsibility?
No, it was something that had to be done.
Did you go live with them, or did they come live with you?
She came and lived with me.
Did you take any classes or anything like that to prepare yourself for the job?
No, there isn't anything that you can do to prepare yourself for it, because it's an ugly disease and everything is different with each person that gets it, so you don't know what you're going to be facing.
Alright. Can you describe the daily routine of taking care of a person with ALS?
Well, it depends on if they're mobile at all. If they're somewhat mobile, you can get them up and put them in a wheelchair and take them out. And, of course, feeding them. Well, in my mother's instance, she couldn't swallow, so I had to feed her through a tube in her stomach. And then you have the care for cleaning the tube and try and help keep her entertained somewhat, and put her down for naps and help her with a bath, because she couldn't do that either by herself. So that's the struggle of getting her out of the wheelchair and into the shower and so on and so forth. Now, my sisters would take turns in the evening and come help me out, give me a little bit of a break. But it's a pretty rough job.
Was it expensive to be a caretaker, or did you have everything you needed provided for you?
As far as I can recall, yeah, pretty much everything was provided for her.
What was the hardest part of being a caretaker?
The hardest part is seeing your loved one go through such a horrible disease.
And was there an easy part?
No, nothing to do with that is easy.
Alright. Were you the sole caretaker of the patient, or did you have any help?
Like I said, my sisters would come over in the evening and help out or give me a break, and my husband was there. He would help me if I needed help. Sometimes it was hard for me to get her up by myself, to pick her up by myself, but for the most part, it was pretty much all me.
Did the amount of care needed increase as the disease progressed?
Yes, it did. When it got worse, of course, she couldn't go to the bathroom, and you had to take care of that situation. And when it got really close to the end, it was a lot of horrible things you had to deal with.
Was there ever a time when you thought about giving up and having someone else take care of her?
No.
How did you deal with the stress?
Actually, I got breaks when I was stressed out to the max. My sisters would help, and although at one point I actually did go outside and scream, just from frustration.
Alright. If you could go back again, would you still want to be the caretaker?
Yes.
Alright, and lastly, what advice would you give to a person thinking about being a caretaker for an ALS patient?
They can't, not one person can do it. You wouldn't survive it. It's hard on you emotionally, it's hard physically. You have to be prepared for anything. And like I said, this disease is crazy because there are some symptoms that are part of the disease that you have no idea that's what it is. So it's, you know, it's always a surprise of what's coming. And you just got to be prepared for anything.
Anything else would you like to say?
I wish they would find a cure for it. It's an awful, awful disease.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.